Winding down the clock, getting ever so closer to that hour when USDA will release their world supply and demand estimates. And trade's watching that very closely. They had the opportunity already this morning to kind of go through and look at some of the numbers from the crop report that was out, and so far this morning we're just kind of drifting along here sideways. Sorghum harvest, by the way, we hadn't had a chance to talk much about that yet. Louisiana, 91% finished. They're usually 92% finished on the 5-year average. Arkansas, Texas still progressing very well. Oklahoma right now at 10% and Missouri at 3%. Let's check in now with Todd Horwitz from Bubba Trading. They're at the edge of the trading floor at the CME Group in Chicago. Todd, what did you think this morning of the crop progress numbers? No real surprises?
Good morning, John. I didn't even look at it because, again, I don't really look at the reports. I'm not even thinking about today's report later. I think it's going to be, it's already priced in is about as bearish as it can be. I was hearing estimates yesterday of 174, 175 per acre in corn. So again, they've already beat it down, in my opinion, as far as they can. And I think that we're probably looking at a market that will probably rally after the report comes out.
Really? That's pretty interesting. So how much of a rally are you anticipating, or do you have a feel for that?
Well, I don't ever make like these giant predictions, but I mean, certainly I think we could have a reasonable rally. I mean, I still think we're going to have a very solid fourth quarter. So, certainly, 370 wouldn't be out of question off of the report today. Again, it's going to be a little bit of volatile, right? The number will come out and then it'll kind of be, they'll try to figure it out, and you'll have probably 3 moves. There'll be an up and down, and then what the real move is going to be. And I think at the end, the real move will be higher.
Will there be anything, if we do move higher, then do you see anything that could carry us forward and at least hold these levels, or do you think that we have the opportunity or the risk to settle back to where we're at right now until we get to the next report next month?
Well, I think we're going higher in general, John. I believe we're well underpriced here to begin with. If you take the other factors like where the dollar's at and everything else, I mean, I can't quite figure out how we're at these levels. So I think we're underpriced to begin with, and I think we're going to see higher prices. So I don't think we're coming back. If I'm correct on this report, and if we do take off, I don't think we're coming back to these prices. I think we're going higher. I mean, I'm still looking for a very strong fourth quarter. So I'm very bullish right now, the ag space, until they prove me wrong. And right now, obviously, it's a little bit tension down here, but I think we go higher from here.
Do you think corn and soybeans will be able to give wheat a lift?
Well, actually, I think wheat's been, believe it or not, wheat's been the strongest for the last year, and still is. I think wheat's kind of on its own. It's like the ugly stepsister or whatever, and it's kind of just hanging out there. But I think wheat goes higher as well. I think that my concern is soybeans, and that would be the 977 level. We can't get through there, then I think soybeans have a problem. But I think as far as wheat and corn are concerned, first of all, they're both well oversold, number one. Number two, I think they're both looking for a reason to lift and rally higher. And I think after this bearish report comes out today, which you can bet it's going to be bearish, I just don't think it's going to be as bearish as has already been priced into the market.
If we can't break through that 977, then what do we go back down and test, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple of spots. You've got 940, 920, and if we can't hold 920, then it's probably below 9. Now, I'm assuming we'll be able to hold all that, and I think that there's going to be, more expert than we think. I think there's going to be a lot of good things happening. Again, generally in the grain space, I'm very bullish going into the fourth quarter, but part of my theory bases on that the stock market's going to sell off and money's going to flow in. New money's going to come in as alternative money. So if that doesn't happen, that does change my theory just a little bit.
Todd Horwitz, our guest with Bubba Trading. Todd, we need to talk about the livestock trade, so just hang with us here for just a moment, and we'll be right back.
Thanks, John.
With more Market Day Report in just a moment. Okay, we just flashed it up on the screen there for our listeners on rural radio. Crude oil and heating oil both on the higher side today. Now let's go back and talk to Todd Horwitz there at the edge of the trading floor at the CME Group. A little bit of a bounce here for the crude oil and the heating oil, but is this all still related to weather, you think?
As they do on the floor, John, when we do this, that means you want to sell it. I think crude's going significantly lower still. My original target was 40. I think I actually may revise that lower as we get done here, because there was actually no bounce off of the hurricane, off of the tropical storm. To me, they look like it's going much lower, and of course, there's an overabundance of demand of supply anyway, so there's no reason for us to go higher here. And I'm certainly a seller on any rally, especially if we would get to 49. I certainly would sell it.
All right, let's go to the live cattle first here. I was looking for bids and asking prices this morning, and just before we went on the air, I did see one bid of 105 for cash cattle, but the rest of this cattle country is very, very quiet, and the futures are starting to slip here just a little bit.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. They might slip a little bit, but again, I think we're going to hold, 105, 106. I think we're going higher. I think we're going to target 112 here in the fat cattle first, but I think we have a chance to go higher than that. I think there's a good chance we can get up to 116 or higher, or even higher. But again, if you look at the overall formation, we've rotated from that backwardation into a contango formation, which makes it even more bullish. I think we see higher prices, and I think the action has been great down here because we didn't get that one big spike up and then fall apart. I think we held support, and we're starting to churn our way up, and I think you're seeing the same action in feeders. They might have gone up just a tad too fast at the end of last week, but again, I think we're going to see 150, 152 is the first resistance in feeders. I think 140s are the low is in, and I don't see us going much lower than that on any case. I think we look for higher prices going forward.
And what about the pork complex? You are still optimistic there?
Yeah, I'm very optimistic in hogs. In fact, I like December hogs right here. On my way up here, they're at about 57.80, which is where I actually stepped in. But I think that they look really solid, and I think they look to go higher now. I mean, we had that major shift and that squeeze that they kept squeezing them higher, but I think we then broke them down, and we've been down dramatically. I think they've now found a great level of support, and I look for them to go higher from here.
Where can we break through that December 58.10? Then what's it going to take, do you think?
I think it'll take a few buyers will step in, and I think you'll see a little bit of action. I think everybody's kind of on the sidelines, even the meat traders waiting to see what this grain report's going to bring us. And I think you might see some action this afternoon. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see us back at 60 by the end of the week in the December hogs.
Sounds to me like you're still very bullish then when it comes to the protein complex.
I got to eat a lot of protein. I got to keep the weight off, right? So I got to keep eating protein.
Yeah, that's exactly right. All right, Todd Horwitz, our guest, Bubba Trading. It's always good to talk to you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Have a great day.
All right, let's review those futures. Well, let's start with the live cattle first and bring you up to date on those numbers. October live cattle down 30, 106.90. December live cattle down 66, 112.22. September feeder cattle down 75, 147.70. October feeders down 67 at 148.68. December hogs down 63 at $58. Backing up here to October. October lean hogs down $1.06 at $60.52 for the grain market, and this is just a few moments away now from our USDA report here this morning. December down 4 1/4 on the corn, 353 1/4. Soybean numbers, November down 1 1/4 at 958 3/4. And December Chicago wheat up 1/4, 435. December Kansas City wheat up 1/2 at 435 1/4. The December Minneapolis wheat up 2 1/2 at 644 3/4, and the cotton market for December down $1.03 at 71.08. And so we're ever closer working toward those numbers that will certainly give direction to the market. Be interesting to see what happens. We'll watch it.
The moment is coming upon us very quickly now.
It is indeed.
Thank you so much, Markets Editor John Jenkinson.